Welcome back once more to Irish Agility, a platform where we simplify Agile, a platform where we strive to break down Agile related concepts to the granular level. So today I'm excited to bring to you all another series of Scrum Master interview questions and answers, but this time around, the questions I'll be sharing with you are situational based. These kind of questions are very easy to throw people off during interviews. So I confidently feel by the end of this session, you'll be better equipped on how to approach situational based interviews in your upcoming interviews. Fam, if you're new to the family, please join the family by subscribing, turn your notification bell on so that next time I'm dropping in another content like this, a similar content like this, you are automatically notified. So without taking so much time, let's dive straight into our discussion of today. So question number 1. You have been brought in as a new Scrum Master for a team struggling to deliver value to business. As the new Scrum Master, what will you do to turn things around? So, fam, if you interpret this question with me, you'll realize that might be the company in front of you or the company interviewing you is going through a situation where they have team or teams struggling to deliver value to business. Maybe they come during their sprint, they plan XY amount of work, they plan their sprint goals, but they're not able to meet those sprint goals. So they're looking for someone who can come in, look at the situation, partner with the teams, build that relationship with the teams, and do what? And turn things around and drive the team towards another new direction where they can deliver seamless quality value for the business. So it will be erroneous for you during an interview to start telling the interview how you coach the team, your new team on team dynamics, how you coach them on agile practices or on the best way of working. Remember, you've just joined that new environment. So without you even figuring out what is going wrong, without you even figuring out some of the reasons that might be causing them to not deliver value in a sprint, certain reasons that might be pulling them back, then it becomes even difficult for you to suggest or to propose any adjustments to the team. So I think if I were you, the way I approach this question is when you join that new environment, number 1, you want to do the basics. You want to partner with the team. You want to build that social capital with the team. You want to build that solid partnership with the team. You want to observe their team dynamics. You want to observe the way they are working. You want to pay attention to their Scrum ceremonies. You want to pay attention to the way they are handling blockers. In the course of you paying attention to the way they are working, to their culture, to their dynamics, believe me, you will find gaps that over time you can start partnering with the team to close that gap, to close those gaps. I vividly remember, for instance, Edwin, I once joined an environment where one of the business stakeholders clearly told me how the team was struggling to deliver value. She even emphasized how they actually missed a key MVP that meant everything to that business at that particular time. Right? So when I partner with that team, in the first few weeks of the team, the very first thing I realized was the fact that their backlog refinement was more of a product owner just reading out stories to the team. There was no team collaboration. A team of almost 7 developers. There was no collaboration. There was no discussions around the acceptance criteria. It was more of a product owner telling the developers, this is what we expect to do in this story. This is what we expect to do in this story. So at that particular time, I felt like something was missing. So I partnered with the product owner. I suggested to the product owner that if we can involve the developers during refinement, if we can involve the developers during grooming, if we can involve the entire team during backlog refinement, we go through the acceptance criteria and see if the developers can come in, can chime in to see if there are other possible scenarios that we might be missing. This is very important to create a spirit of shared ownership. A backlog refinement where just a product owner or a few select individuals are participating negates the purpose of backlog refinement. I also connected with the different team members. I laid emphasis on the importance of that collaboration, on the importance of that discussion, on the importance of that togetherness brainstorming during backlog refinements, right? And they understood with me, and over time we started adopting some of these practices. Over time during our backlog refinements, we saw that collaboration coming in. So this actually helped the team. The value that we delivered gradually increased from when I joined that new environment, right? So this is how I approach that question. It will be a big mistake for you to just start telling the interviewer how you start coaching the team on this, on this, on this. It is very important first to partner with the team, to observe, right? Build that trust. In the course of doing that, believe me, you will start finding out things that you can come in and start suggesting. Question number 2. You have joined an environment that has just undergone transformation, and management is pressurizing the teams to increase velocity by 15%. How will you work with the team to increase velocity? Fam, this question is almost similar to the previous question we just saw. You've joined a new environment, and that environment has just switch or migrated or move from the waterfall way of doing things to an agile way of doing things, right? Agile is relatively new to them as compared to what they have been doing before. As a result, maybe they have been in just 4 sprints, 5 sprints. Management is already pressurizing the teams to actually increase their velocity. First, what is velocity? Velocity is just the amount of work that Scrum teams can pick and deliver in a particular sprint, right? So what I want you to understand, right, from my personal experience, velocity is something that will naturally increase as teams become self-organized, as teams become mature. Their velocity will slowly increase, right? Let's say if I encounter that situation where management is actually pressurizing teams to actually increase their velocity, what I will do is almost what I would do in the previous situation. I will partner with the teams. I will make sure that we are slowly getting mature. I will make sure that we are working as one. I will make sure that we are actually embracing that agile values, right? We are reaching out to one another. We are collaborating. We are doing pair programming where there is need to do so, right? In the course of doing all those things, believe it or not, velocity will slowly increase, and when velocity slowly increase, management is gonna see that. But at the end of the day, if you're facing that so much pressure from management, then I will be bold enough to actually suggest to management that from my observations, I think these are some of the challenges the team is going through. I believe that by the time we start working as a team to get rid of some of these challenges, we shall gradually see our velocity increase, right? So number 1, to be able to answer this question, you must know the importance of velocity. And number 2, you must pay attention to the fact that velocity should not be taken, especially for a new team or especially for a team that has just undergone transformation, as a way to gauge their performance, right? So I think that's how I'll approach this question. Question number 3. You have been supporting a team for almost 6 months, and each time the tech lead is out of office, there is a typo there, team. Each time the tech lead is out of office, the team suffers to deliver value for that sprint. How will you work with your team to address the situation? Yes, it can be very difficult when the team is reliant or the team is solely dependent on what? On a particular person. It becomes a problem. It becomes problematic when that team member is not around. Have been in situations like this in the past where we have a team member who is very instrumental within the team. Each time that team member is out of office, the team suffers to deliver any meaningful value during that period, right? So if I were a Scrum Master faced in that situation, number 1, I will first want to understand what are the problems that my team members might be facing. Why are they struggling each time when that particular developer is out of office? When I connect with them on one-on-one, this is where one-on-ones becomes very, very important. Probably we might come to realize, or you might uncover, that there might be a skill set issue. Right? The goal of every Scrum team is to drive themselves towards what? That level where they become self-organized, where they become mature. And part of that is also to enable your team or your developers become what we call T-shaped developers. What are T-shaped developers? T-shaped developers are developers that are specialized in a particular skill, yet they have experiences in other related fields. You might have a developer that is specialized in JavaScript, yet that developer also has some knowledge with what? Python. All right. So the goal of every Scrum team is to get themselves to a level where they become T-shaped. So if I find myself in a situation where when a particular tech lead is out of office, the team suffers, then number one, I want to understand why is that each time he is out of office we always suffer. Maybe it's a skill set issue. If it's a skill set issue, then over time you want to start encouraging best engineering practices like pair programming, right? You want to encourage pair programming where you might pay a more experienced developer or that tech lead with a less experienced developer, so that by the time they collaborate on a particular ticket, on a particular issue, right, the less experienced developer will learn something, some good coding practices from the more experienced developer, right? Number two, you want to make sure from time to time you encourage the team to organize what we call short design sessions. It is very, very important. During those short design sessions, believe it or not, developers will learn something out of it. Number three, you also want to encourage feedback within the team. From time to time, encourage your developers to give feedback. Once that feedback is available, you can always encourage your developers to find time to improve on that particular feedback. Might be within your environment or organization, there are some short courses that you can encourage your developers to take. It is very important. But unless you partner with them to understand the skill sets that they might be lacking, then it becomes even difficult for us, to actually move forward. So if you realize all these questions revolve around a common problem, unless we understand the root cause, then it becomes even difficult for us as Scrum Masters, right, to actually coach, to actually suggest, right? So I think it is very important that each time you're joining a team, you want to make sure that you're building that relationship with your team. I call a Scrum Master a relationship builder, because believe it or not, that relationship is what is going to help you in so many different situations during your career, during your practice, right? And question number 4. You were originally supporting 2 Scrum teams and business just added you the 3rd Scrum team. How will you equivocally still support these 3 teams to deliver value? Team, this is a very common situation nowadays, right? There are situations where you have Scrum Masters supporting multiple teams, 2 teams, 3 teams. You were at first supporting just 2 teams. They added another extra team to you. How will you be able, to still coordinate your efforts to make sure that you're supporting those 3 teams? In the past, what I've done is teams that are already mature, teams that have become to a level where they are self-organized, from time to time, I let them do their own things. I only come in from time to time to check on with those teams to see what form of support I can provide for them. But at the end of the day, the team that is still less mature, I try to spend more time with those teams. But while I'm spending more time with those teams, I'm also getting them to the level where they become self-organized. I'm also getting them to the level where when they face challenges, situations, impediments, blockers, they are able to proactively take ownership of some of those responsibilities. So as a Scrum Master, somebody who coaches multiple teams, your goal should be empowering those teams to the level where they can take self-ownership on some of the things, to the level where they don't expect you to be there for them to be able to run their daily stand-up. They don't expect you to be there for them to be able to run their sprint plannings, right? So you want to make sure that you are able to drive your team towards a level where they become self-organized, towards a level where they can take ownership of certain things without necessarily relying on the Scrum Master, irrespective of what their maturity level. You're still with them. Why? Because there is always room for improvement. And question number 5, what separates you from other Scrum Masters? What are some of the qualities that you possess that separates you from other Scrum Masters? Personally, Edwin, I'm a people's person. I'm a relationship builder. Right, over the past, I've owned that experience. I've built that ability to actually partner with my developers, to actually partner with my different stakeholders, to actually meet them where they are, so that together we can go to where we want to be. So fam, this brings us to the end of this wonderful session. If you found this session useful, if you learned something out of this session, please share this content to bless someone. If you're also looking for a safe Scrum Master certification and training, feel free to reach out to me. Drop me a message, right? I'm that person who can hook you up. I'll help you master the fundamentals of SAFe. And also, if you're just looking for somebody who can help you prepare for your upcoming interviews, or somebody who can help you as a practicing Scrum Master help your team better deliver value, feel free to reach out to me and we can have a one-on-one on that. Peace.